Welcome everyone to our final virtual pre-departure session for today. We are having 4 of our fantastic international students speak to you guys today, and it's all about them. Today's presentation is on international student experience. So this session is going to be more on a conversational basis. So the slides are all there just as dot points. We're going to have our students talk. They all do different things. They all come from different backgrounds. And I'm really looking forward to this session. And I really hope that our students listen to this session and, just experience, or the students will take you through, what they're currently studying, how are they finding things studying at the University of Tasmania. So I'll just introduce, we've got Ji here, we've also got Ryan, we've got Samuel, and we've also got Rai. So they're all, either in their final semesters, final years, and they all have exams this week. So I really want to say thank you for joining. And we really, really appreciate our students speaking, because I think it's so important that our future students hear it from our current students. So I might start the session by just asking. So I'll start with Ji, I guess. So what are you currently studying, and what did you study previously, and why did you choose the University of Tasmania?
Yeah, thanks, Mona. What am I currently studying? I'm studying the Bachelor of Laboratory Medicine. I'm in my 3rd year, and the entire duration of this degree is 3.5. It's a bit of an odd number, but there we go. And what I studied previously were actually science. From high school until now, I've been doing science my entire life, basically, but I do really enjoy it. And the pathway I used to came to university was actually using the WACE, which is a Western Australian program, and they offered it in Malaysia, so I just took it, and here I am. And why did I choose UTAS? UTAS, I think it's quite famous for health sciences, actually. And the most important thing that it has really cheap fees, and it gave me a really good scholarship, about 25%, which I really appreciate, because I'm not coming from a very, very rich family background, and that's really helpful. And besides, this course is actually accredited by an associated board, which is extremely important for my career, because without that, it's much harder to get a job in this particular field. And this board is called AIMS, and it's relatively well known in Australia.
That is amazing, Ji. So, Lab Med is one of those areas that students are always interested in studying. We get so many inquiries on Lab Med, so it's really good to have you here to talk about it. And, as you said, it's good to hear that you got the scholarship. I'm sure some of our other students did, hopefully. And yeah, it's important to note that the Bachelor of Lab Med is also AIMS accredited, which is really, really good to hear. Ryan, you're next. So what are you currently studying? What did you previously study, and why UTAS?
Thanks, Mona. Hello, everyone, and I hope everything's going well with you guys. And thank you, Mona and Leith, and all the team at the University of Tasmania to holding this meeting, so that I can have a chance to share my experience with the new arriving students. So here we go. So actually, I have recently graduated with Master of Operational Accounting at the University of Tasmania. And before that, I did my Bachelor of International Business back in my country in Vietnam. So with my Bachelor of International Business back in Vietnam, then I had a few years working in various industry, and then I decided to upgrade myself, upskills myself by doing a master abroad, and I chose the University of Tasmania because not really. There are 2 reasons. Firstly, is the University of Tasmania itself. So when I did before I decided to study, I did a few research about the unis in Australia. And then I found out that the University of Tasmania has quite a high ranking on the table. So why don't I just give it just a go? The second reason is when I choose where to study, it's not really about the uni, about the school, but about the city that I am going to live in. So I grew up in Ho Chi Minh City, which is a hustle and bustle city, so it's very busy. So when I study abroad, I would like to have some sort of experience, some kind of different experience. So when I researched Hobart, which that the city that the University of Tasmania locates, the city's Hobart is like it's not really busy, but it's not really quiet as well. You don't want to live in somewhere that it's like it's coming from a different world, right? So it's Hobart is not really busy, but also not really quiet. So it's like it's got the best of both worlds. So that's the reason why I chose the University of Tasmania. Back to my study, the lecturers and tutors at the University of Tasmania are awesome. I would say they not only teach you, they don't only teach you, but they also be some kind of your friend. You can share your experience, you can share your difficulties with them, and they're more than happy and more than willing to help you with that, with all of your difficulties that you're facing. To talk about best experiences, the best experiences of myself here, it's quite a interesting question, because I have quite many beautiful experiences at the University of Tasmania. So I will pick just a small story about myself. That so being a student, and especially an international students, after the second priority after your study, I think that would probably be your working. So finding a part-time job to support yourself is quite a important thing to do. So where I come from is quite, in Australia, we're looking for a job, a part-time job is quite different from where I come from. So so being a University of Tasmania's students, I and you guys will have access to various services at uni, and one of which are the career peer section, the career peer service, where you are going to have advisors regarding your job search or regarding your job application. So on that day, I went to the service. It's totally free for UTAS students, and I went to the service and I learned so much how to get a job in Tasmania, and in Tasmania and in Australia as well. So and I succeed. I was successful to get a job back then, and with that beautiful experience. And so after that, I decided to apply for a career peer position at the University of Tasmania as well. So and I got it. I worked in the position for 2 semesters. So so I would say that kind of one of my best experiences here in the University of Tasmania, and I hope you guys is going to have those beautiful experience as me as well.
That's amazing, Ryan. And what a great introduction to this session. It's really good to hear that. I will get back to you at some point. I'll pop on to Samuel to briefly discuss, what are you currently studying? I guess what year are you in? And what was your previous study and why UTAS?
Thank you, Mona. Hello, everyone. I'm Samuel. I'm doing my master's in maritime design at AMC. I did previously mechanical engineering, and I did specialization in energy engineering. So my plan was to go do something offshore renewable energy, or do solar systems, solar power plants, something related to energy. And I wanted to come to Australia to study. The first thing everyone does is go through every universities in Australia, get the interesting course you want to do. I did the same thing. So Tasmania was there with offshore renewable energy. So I'm here doing research on studies on offshore platforms and structures where I can, have windmills and stuff like that. So it's one of the courses that it's part of that course. So Tasmania was one of my options, and I got a lot of other options and a lot of scholarships. So I came here through IDP, which is one of the recruiting agencies back in India, and they are very good to approach. It's completely free, and I had a good experience with them. I would recommend many people who are listening to me from India. They are a good platform to come to Australia. They're really helpful. So I went to IDP. I showed my consulate. So I have all these scholarships and all these offers. Where would I go? And I asked him, so you have to speak in the point where you have a son to go. And he said, if I have a son, I will send him to Tasmania. And I won't say I chose it, but it was him who chose it. But I have to say, what was my experience, choosing that option? I came here. It's an amazing place. The studies I wanted to do, I got that opportunity here, and I'm working with one of the amazing facilities. Like the research facility that I am using right now is one of the best in AMC. And I think most of you have seen the simulator center in some point in your slides, because it's a highlight of AMC. It's a and I work in that, and I'm blessed to be part of that research. I would say, and now my shift has come from renewable energy to radar systems and simulator centers. So it's completely changed my career perspective itself. So about faculties, if I speak here, they're really friendly, and I had a good bunch of faculties, and the courses they offer, they are well taught, and they know what they need to deliver to the students, and we sit with huge expectation, and they meet that. So that would be my one sentence that I can explain about the course I'm doing. And why I chose Tasmania is just because, and I don't regret that, because I have finished 1.5 years here. Best place you can be to learn. If you have interest in traveling, this is the best place. So that's all. I will discuss some more points of my experience later on the
Yeah.
slides, but these are the things that I want to say based on these questions now I have.
And just for the audience, Samuel is studying in it's called our Australian Maritime College, and it is pretty much the best in Australia. If there's any students who are interested in doing maritime studies or marine or anything like that, we have courses from certificate degree level all the way through PhD. So it is one of our niche areas, I guess, as part of the university. But before that, right, quickly, what are you currently studying and what year are you in? All of that.
Hi, Mona. Thank you so much. First of all, hello, everyone. So I'm currently studying my MBA International and specializing in marketing. So it's already the end of my course. It's a 2-year course, and I get done this Friday. So quite emotional about it. I can't believe 2 years have flown.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see my fellow career peer Ryan on screen after a long time. And we've had some good times, Ryan. And
Yeah,
in terms of my previous study area, it's been quite interesting. My undergrad was in general management and specializing in marketing in India. And then I decided that I'll pursue a master's in HR. So I did that from the University of Leeds in the UK. And post that, I was working as an HR professional in India, but mostly as a recruitment consultant. And I think after 5 years, it got a bit too monotonous because, every day you pick up the phone, you speak to a candidate, you interview him, you kind of judge him for a role. And meanwhile, I was also being mentored for a business development role. And that's where my interest in marketing actually grew. And I felt that after like 5 years of experience, an MBA degree would be really helpful to accelerate my professional growth. I was looking at various options, to be honest. I was looking at universities, I was looking at the course structure, and I think a mix of reasons allowed me to choose Tasmania. Firstly, I think the course was designed really well because they have like the core units and the electives. And the core units really covers every aspect of the business in an informative but yet a concise manner, so you have enough knowledge which you can take to the real world business setting. And marketing, as I said, they were offering those electives, so the choice of subjects was quite elaborate. There were many electives I could choose from. And I think building on what Ryan said, I'm from Mumbai. Uh, it's really quite a chaotic city, even though I love it a lot. Just to give you some context, the population of Australia is around 25 million, and that of Mumbai is around 23 million.
It's
So
not
you can.
comparable, Ryan.
I don't think I can
With the
really
country,
explain. Yeah. So I think maybe because I'm getting older, I wanted some peace and quiet, and I really don't regret, because when I wake up at my battery point address, I see the sun, I see rainbows, I see Salamanca from my window, and it's really beautiful. So anyone who's considering coming to Tasmania, please just Google some amazing pictures of Tasmania, and it'll make your decision much easier.
I mean, you've said it. I think it's sometimes difficult to explain how Tasmania is like when you're back home. But I actually studied Bachelor of Business at UTAS, and I majored in marketing. And then I did Ryan, like yourself, I did Masters of Professional Accounting. I specialized in business management as well. So so I'm a UTAS alumni. Ryan, you're going to be a UTAS alumni very, very soon. But genuinely, I agree with all of you. I think it's a place where you've got the interaction between yourself and the lecturers. It was always so much, but in a smaller class setting. And I think that's so important that, of course, the lecture halls are always going to be lots of students, but then the tutorial class sizes are smaller. And I also, myself, I came through IDP, Samuel, myself, long, long, long time ago. This
I
was back
still
in
respect the
2007.
Yeah, I give a lot of my students their connection, because there are a lot of other systems. I got the best experience, no charge. They're the best, and they helped me select Tasmania. So for that
Yeah.
reason, I respect. Yeah.
And that's fantastic. And you know what? We've got so many other agents who are in the same boat. They all do fantastic, amazing work. IDP is just one of our agents. We've got so many amazing agents out there from all different regions that have so many different branches who are doing amazing work for the university. So, these are just examples of where our students come from. For example, where I came, how I ended up at UTAS. So, students, obviously, they have so many different pinpoints as to why they choose the university. So it's really interesting to hear, so many different points as to what made you choose the university. So, and different things drive different students. So I am on my slide at the moment here. So I know, Ryan, you briefly talked about your experience, but I would love to hear from G. So what was your best experience so far in terms of, with your lecturers and tutors? I know Bachelor of Lab Med, there's a lot of interaction with lecturers and pracs, etc.
Yes.
And also, what has been your best experience so far?
Regarding my lectures and tutors, actually, I really appreciated that we are constantly in labs. It came to a point, for example, my third year, every week you're going to different labs, 4 times a week, and just to go in there and just really experience. And one thing to note for the Bachelor of Lab Med is that they actually retrieve their samples from hospitals. The blood samples, the serum samples, they're all real, and all the
Oh,
complications
wow.
that are, yeah, all the complications, all the diseases, even rare diseases, everything is real. You are literally working in a real life setting. And that is
Wow.
really valuable. Yes. And I think that's really valuable because it really allows, it just mirrors and mimics what happens in the hospitals. And it's just like when you're working on your own. And in regards to the lecturers and tutors, they're actually really, really knowledgeable. But when I say knowledgeable, they are professional, but they're not untouchable. They're not afraid to admit that they're human as well and tell you that, look, I don't know what this is actually, but all you have to know is just this, this, and this.
And
And
that's
that
so
is,
important, isn't it? Like
yeah.
the fact that, not everybody knows everything. And I think that's such a good point, Jay, because I think a lot of students assume that lecturers and academics, they know everything, when sometimes you know, they come back to you and say, actually, I'm not sure of that. And that's a sign of a fantastic academic or lecturer, I think, or tutor, because, you know, they've actually took the time to say, hang on, I'm not sure, let's get back to it. And that's why we've actually won the highest academic teaching awards in all of Australia. So that's a perfect example, but go on.
Yep, definitely. And about my best experience, in my degree, my best experience is actually having to write a few papers, as in I was actually involving myself in an internship within the School of Health Sciences. And I worked with a bunch of academics, and they were all really, really high up, and they have all sorts of titles, PhD, doctor, master, and all sorts of degrees and stuff. However, my supervisor told me that, hey, you should just drive the project yourself. And she gave me a lot of autonomous degree in
She
my
gave you
research.
ownership.
Yeah, she gave me ownership, and she gave me the power to call the meetings, and then she allowed me
Wow.
to actually interact with others as well when I'm not really sure how to use things or to use a survey tool. And I think that's a really, really valuable thing for me, because it taught me how to be independent, and in the end, I really gained a lot, actually. And for
That is
my best
amazing.
Yep,
Yeah.
and then for my next experience outside of my degree is actually volunteering, because I do quite a number of volunteering work as well. And there's one associated with the University of Tasmania, which I traveled to a rural area called St. Helens. And with a few bunch of volunteers as well, we just went there, we taught children on how, we were sort of like promoting university and tertiary education. We want those children to just push themselves and aim for tertiary education and to graduate. And it's those little light bulb moments that you see when children just like, I want to be a, let's say, a geologist when I grow up. It's those things when you just feel that, yes, I did it.
That is amazing. And, you know, props to you. I mean, taking advantage of volunteer work and all of that stuff that the university helps students with, it's really, really important, I think, for students to understand that they can expand their horizon, not just with study, but there's volunteer, there's jobs, there's societies, there's peer groups, there's, you know, so many associates and clubs, you know, you name it. So that's amazing. I might go back to I know, Ryan, you spoke a little bit about your experience. I'll get back to you soon. But Samuel, as part of AMC, so how is your I guess your interactions with your lecturers in terms of, you know, maritime design and all of that, and also one of your best experiences inside the
I,
university and outside?
I would say with one sentence, it's I'm blessed to be part of AMC. That's one thing that I want
That's
to say in this.
amazing.
Yeah. Because you see a lot of things happening around Australia, but it all started at AMC. That's
Yeah.
that's one thing you say, because when I came to study here, we had a career exposure. So a lot of
Mm,
companies came here, and everyone, whether it be on their CEO ranks or the HR departments, everyone were like, they were graduates of AMC. So you're connected to the whole system by just being part of AMC. So you
yeah.
have that industrial tie-up just by being part of AMC. And when you have a LinkedIn page, you get connected to those people. They just accept you because you're part of AMC, even though they
Mm,
don't know you as a person. As a study subjects wise, it's a very compact subject. It's a master's course that I'm doing. You have a research and study based subjects. You don't have exams, but mostly assignments. But the lectures are really good. I had dinners with my lecturers, so they're that
that's
friendly.
amazing. Yeah.
I have a lunch this weekend with another
And
lecturer.
here is
So
proof. And here is proof. I tell students all the time. I used to have coffee catch-ups with my lecturers when I was a student. You know, they know your personal life as well, which makes, and I'm sure everyone else would agree, like they come to down to a personal level with you, and it actually helps the student a lot not to freak out on their exams or if they need any help from lecturers and tutors. And that's another one of the reasons why we've
they
won
do.
so many awards. So go on,
They do.
Samuel. Yeah.
This next lunch that I'm going to have is with his whole family. So
Oh,
again, he's
wow. How
invited me.
special.
That's how special it is. So again, speaking of how they are helpful during this Corona time, I was not comfortable suddenly shifting from everything offline to online. So
Yeah.
that was one thing. And my lecturers, they were actually contacting me, emailing me, because I actually complained in the start that I was like, no, I'm not feeling it
Of
comfortable
course.
because I am doing all in my laptop. I have to sit with one subject, then I'm not taking a break. I'm going to the next subject, but I'm still sitting on in front of the same laptop. So,
Yeah.
but they were really helpful in, extending my time periods for assignments, how they're actually not just asking about their subject, they were asking, are you able to manage to do other subjects during this given time period? It's not just one subject they were focusing on, and that's in the way they teach you, they're so friendly. As she said, they agree to the point if they don't know something, but still they come back with a solution or give us a guidance to where to go with studies or with a doubt or something like that. uh, my best experience in AMC, as I told you earlier, I'm doing research on AMC simulator. You will have no place more than that to be. Like, if you're an AMC, the only
Of
desire you have
course.
is to be in simulator, because you can just go anywhere in the world in that system, because it's actually simulate any sea conditions, any vessels you want. You just go in there, you experience what is being in a vessel, and I am being part of that research. It's a blessing, and I'm so happy that I was part of that. So me doing the first simulation inside that system was my best experience. I didn't know it was going to be a different whole world. I was not going to I didn't know at all that I'm going to have a sea experience going in there. And it's a state of the art. It's the best thing. We have a lot of Navy projects coming in. We do a lot of researches. All the projects, it's time packed. You see a lot of research papers coming out of it. If you're not, I want to do PhD further. So if you're not just pursuing for masters, AMC is again wonderful place, because you
Yeah.
have a lot of professors who are doing amazing projects. So you might not get a chance to join one of those PhD.
Yeah.
Another thing,
Yeah.
blue economy. Blue economy is one of the biggest research happening in Australia among all Commonwealth countries, and AMC is a strong partner for that. So if
Mm.
you're interested in anything about ocean and the renewable energies, it's an integrated part, like integrated project where you want to save ocean, but it has lots of component in it. They just kicked it off, and it has the highest funding. So if you're a PhD student listening to me, there are a lot of research opportunity there
Yeah.
itself. So AMC is the best place. I love it.
No, I agree
I
with
would
you.
recommend anyone who has an engineering desire, try for something in AMC.
And it's so amazing to see your enthusiasm, Samuel. I really appreciate it because I've always spoken highly about AMC. I've actually been to a port where I've seen all the vessels and the stimulators back in the Middle East. I look after Middle East and Africa. I'm from the Middle East myself, so seeing all the ports and what AMC does to take part of that, and also all the research, it's mind blowing. So thank you so much for sharing that, Samuel. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. My
Um,
pleasure.
Before I go to the next slide, I'll go to you, Ryan. But before that, your experience, Rye. How has it been, apart from looking out your beautiful window and looking at the rainbows and Salamanca? What was your experience with your lectures, and also one of your best experiences as well?
I think firstly, I like to agree with Samuel. I think most of our tutors, our professors are always very friendly. So although they have the knowledge, the skill, the expertise to teach us, they are more like friends. So even the course is structured in a way where you can maintain that balance. You can focus on your study as well as on your personal and social life. So it's more of an enjoyable experience rather than you taking stress on a daily basis. And they totally understand if you need extra help on a particular area. They have consultations, regular consultations, where you can book in, you can spend hours with them, and they'll never hesitate to like help you out. So I think
Mm.
that's one thing which is really amazing. uh, and moreover, they treat you as an adult. So
Yeah.
you are allowed to do or follow an approach which you're comfortable with. They don't micromanage you, so that gets the best out of you. And they're quite smart and intelligent in getting the best out of you, in the sense that they would, for example, in group projects, they might randomly assign you with other group members. So it really builds your personal growth as well, because you interact with students from different nationalities. The introvert inside you, maybe, I mean, you can't really be an introvert if you have to work in a group. So that's good for you. So I think that's the best part of the lecturers and the tutors. And in terms of my best experience, I really can't like zero in on like one particular experience because I think UTAS has really given me so many amazing memories. As a career peer, along with Ryan, I think we've had so many amazing moments. I think he would agree. uh,
Totally agree.
yeah. And like Z, I've also done volunteering at the Red Cross. In fact, I was quite active during the COVID-19 situation as an emergency services volunteer. So it's quite fulfilling when people who are isolated in the quarantine, they appreciate us checking up on them. So it feels
Totally.
good. Yeah, and also, and I think sometimes the small moments like just sipping on a coffee outside the cafe and chatting with friends on campus, it's really something that you have to experience. Sitting in the library, interacting with your friends, sometimes even completing assignments and the relief that you feel. I think
Oh,
everything
the relief.
when, when
Always
you
bonding.
when you click on that submit button.
The submit button.
Yeah, so everything feels like really good. So I think
Yeah,
I think the university experience as a whole is something that everyone should look forward to.
yeah. I
Yeah.
completely agree, Rai. And all my memories, future students will experience it too, was my second home was the Morris Miller Library. I was in there day and night. I'm sure you guys were previous to COVID-19. It was just day and night. That submit button, sometimes late at night, 12 p.m., a.m., just submitting assignments. So it was massively crazy. So I really appreciate all of the comments so far. I know we're getting questions in, but we're going to get to the end. I'm just being conscious of time. We have about 12, 13 minutes or so left. But Ryan, I'm going to come to you now. So would you recommend your course to your friends, or, you could add more comments to that so you can talk about, would you recommend UTAS to your friends or peers, or the course that you're doing? I know we've done the same course, so shoot through.
Thanks, Mona. And sorry, guys. I was so excited to share my experience with you. If someone asked me, would I recommend my course to some of my friends, I would say definitely yes. So just to say that, just to remind you guys again, that I did the Master of Professional Accounting, specialization in marketing. So my during the degree, when someone has heard that I'm doing um, Master of Professional Accounting, people say, is it boring? Is it all about numbers?
Oh
That
yeah.
the principle of those numbers and things like that. I would say just a bit, because the course structure is not, it's not really, it's not only develop your accounting, your
Yeah.
your employability skills, but also your soft skills, the other things as well. For example, being an accountant, you're not going to work on your own. You're going to work as a team. So how teamwork's going to be in Australia? I know that everyone will have some sort of experience during their studying, during their working back in their home country. But it's when coming to Australia, it's a different culture. So how it's going to be, how teamwork's going to be in the Australian context. So that is something that the course structure is going to help you to learn about, to study it, to really master it before you actually graduate and go out there to enter the labor market. One more thing is that doing accounting is not really about doing numbers. It's about
It's
talking.
not
It's
at all.
about
I can confirm. I can
presenting as well.
confirm that.
Yes, I think one is going
I've
to
worked
agree
as
with
an
me.
accountant. I've worked as an accountant for 2 years. I can confirm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, the course structure is going to
Yep.
develop your presentation skills. You're going to stand in front of the lecture hall with not many people. It's just around 200, 300 people. You're going to speak something. You have to speak on the topic. And you have to make all of those people understand your point of view. So so the course structure itself is going to be the core reason why I say I would recommend my course to the other students, to other friends and family members.
Amazing, Ryan. I'm just looking at the chat box. We've got so many questions coming in, which is so good to see. And please shoot them through, guys, the audience. I'm just going to remind you, you can send questions anytime. But I'm not going to stop there because I know we have a little bit more to talk about. But Jay, I'm going to go back to you. So would you recommend, Bachelor of Lab Med to students or University of Tasmania to students at all?
I'll definitely recommend it, but there is a little catch there because it is a challenging course because there's a lot of content. Every week you gotta just keep going onto your laptop and just keep doing your notes. But the thing is, if you have an aptitude towards health sciences or biology and you have consistency and you have a discipline when you do your work, then definitely this is the course for you. And if you like to go into a lab and get your hands onto those samples and just keep doing lots of lab work and stuff, and there is a little bit, because at this point in time I think of it as a little bit of an art form actually, the Bachelor of Lab Med, in which when you go into the labs, there is a way while you can organize your things beautifully, and the more you work, I'm not sure how to describe this, but the more you work in the lab, the more it is like an art form actually. For example,
that is amazing. Yeah, that's an amazing way to put it. I've never heard that before. Thanks for sharing that, but go on.
Yeah, for example, there's a subject called histology where we have to slice up the organs and get some tissue slides, and so you can view them under the microscope. But to do that, you have to stain them first. And the quality of staining will be directly reflected when you look into the microscope and when you see those structures inside the cellular level. And there's lots of colors and stuff like that. And when you see your lecturers' slides there, you just see, wow, it's really beautiful.
That is amazing. I mean, look, I'm not the type of person to maybe slice organs, hence why I never did anything in health. I can't even look at someone, putting a needle through me to give a flu shot or anything, but that is amazing. Yeah, I've never thought about it that way. So, and it is hard to describe it sometimes when you've experienced it yourself, and students experience the same courses you're experiencing in different ways. So I think it's important. I mean, you're now considering it as an art form, which is great. Another student, one of your peers, might see it as something else. So, it's important to note for students that your experience is what your experience is with whatever you're studying. Samuel, what about yourself? I know there's a few AMC questions coming through, but just briefly, I mean, I'm sure you would say, AMC is highly recommended, as we've heard. But yeah, go on.
If you get in the AMC, you're blessed. That's what I say.
Mic drop.
You come to UTAS and you say you are an AMC student, everyone will be like, oh, wow. That's the feeling you get every other students when you say you're part of AMC. I'm a scholarship student. I got 50% scholarship in studying here.
That's amazing.
There are a lot of scholarships beyond UTAS that AMC itself provides. So check into that, and sometimes you might have a shot in it. So I did that. I did my principal merit scholarships. So that's how I got in here. Already 2 of my friends are doing here masters.
Wow.
So already 2 people are here. So I would highly recommend it, and many people have called me saying, they're doing electrical, they're doing mechanical. What are their chances? Because you come from a different field and you're not doing maritime design or maritime industry and anything related to maritime. What I came from mechanical engineering. So there are subjects which will help you with your background, and there are some subjects like signal conditioning and stuff like that where you need a little bit of electronic subjects knowledge. But at the same time, the course is structured in such a way that you have a reference point to go back and read and understand, and there are faculties to help you out with assignments, because it's not an exam, it's an assignment, so you do it in a period of time. So if you come across any doubts, you can always mail them, call them, clarify, go in person and meet them, and clarify those doubts. So I would highly recommend it, no matter where you're from, mechanical or electrical engineering, something like that, or directly from maritime industry. All 3 groups actually can come in and do this course, and the help you get will help you to go through it. Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And love that. If you study in AMC, you're blessed. Love that. So Rai, what about yourself?
Thank you, Mona. So I think to begin with, firstly, I think every student needs to analyze what they really want to achieve, going forward in terms of their career. If they really want to build a career in management, I would definitely recommend the MBA course because firstly, you have good options to choose from in terms of electives. You have marketing, you have entrepreneurship in case you want to start your own business, you have finance. And if you have a look at the course structure online, the core units, if you have a look at how what's covered under the core units, I think it gives you a really good knowledge about the entire functional area. So that's really good to begin with. And mostly, I think the course is structured in a way where it's not only about you gaining theoretical knowledge, it's also very practical. You'll have a list of assignments where you need to interact with fellow group members. It develops your presentation skills, it develops your communication, interpersonal skills, and these are really essential for when you actually take up a job in the Australian workplace. So I think it's all-round development. So I would definitely recommend the MBA course, and also because the tutors are well experienced, they have the skill, the expertise to really deliver that knowledge in the right way. So I think overall, if you're really looking to make a career in management, the MBA course would be really insightful and helpful for you.
Yeah, and it's important to note, thanks, Rai, because our MBA course actually accepts students who come from different backgrounds. So, for example, if Ji wanted to, he could go do an MBA degree after his Bachelor of Lab Med. So it doesn't really matter what background you come from. Majority of our business courses, for example, they accept students from any backgrounds, which is really fantastic. So just like as you said, if a student is stuck in a specific discipline and they would like to steer away from that and maybe get more of a, because commerce is around us, any country you go to, any city you go to, any town you go to, you're always being dealing with commerce, business, whatever it is. So it's okay for students to steer away from their usual specialized fields if they want just that extra exposure, even for work experience later on. So I definitely agree with you there. Just checking how many slides we have. So basically, just quickly, I know we might not get through all of them, but maybe just a minute or two, and I might maybe start with you, Ryan, really quickly. Oops, sorry, guys. So are you part of any peer network as part of your degree at all?
Yes, Mona. So during my course of study, I was a member of the Vietnamese Student Association in Tasmania. So at University of Tasmania, we have quite a number of societies. So the Vietnamese Student Association in Tasmania is one of the societies under under the under TU. So it's part of the University of Tasmania. So it's and at that peer network, I did marketing. My background was marketing. Back in Vietnam, I worked for a few years in marketing, and when I decided to study accounting, I don't want to forget all of those knowledge and experience and everything about marketing. So I joined the society and worked as the head of the marketing. So during the so at the same time I study accounting, I got skills, I got knowledge of accounting experience as well. I still working on with my professional, with my things from my background. So I don't forget those. So when I at the time when I graduated, I got I got experience and knowledge about marketing, about accounting, but also I still have those marketing stuff going on throughout my study. So at the time I graduated, I got some sort of two choices to join the labor market, whether in accounting or in marketing.
That's amazing. Ji, are you part of any peers, networks as part of your degree, for example?
Not really a part of my degree actually, but however, we do have a little small group of friends in which we just study together, laugh together.
That's amazing. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Complain together about the assignments, but yeah, there we go.
Look, I mean, I think students, and that is a peer network, what you just said, peer network doesn't have to be an association, or something that you're a big part of, group of, and it could be just a group of students that you're with, your peers, that go to the same classes as you. So that's really, really good to hear. I'm just going to go on to the next slide. I'll start with Samuel. Do you have any sort of, I'll ask one of you to give a quick tip, just because we're going a little bit over time, but Samuel, I'll start with you. One tip or advice for a future student coming to University of Tasmania.
Be part of all organization you can be part of. That's what every events here I enjoyed it. I'm all TU has a lot of clubs, so be part of that. Every volunteering opportunities you have, get into that. That's where you learn a lot of skills. I'm already part of 3 voluntary group, Red Cross. I'm president for Red Cross here in North Launceston, and part of Finnish Youth, and Harvest Market is a great place. Go check it out. Mofo, a lot of things that goes on going on. So be part of everything that's happening in Tasmania. That's where you build your connection, build a connection with the community around you, connection with your faculties, because everyone is going to be there. Yeah, that's be part of everything. Yeah.
And I agree with you, Samuel. When I was a student, unfortunately, I did not join any associations, and I highly regret it, because I hear you guys speak, and now I'm actually jealous. Maybe I should be a student again, but no, not now. I
Okay,
think
no
I'm
worries.
done with 6 years of
It's
study.
very, very important. I see people who are not
Yeah,
joining the club end up having no friends, like being that lonely
so
place.
true.
And if you have, I'm a residential leader, so I'm actually a residential leader, so I'm a staff in university too. At the same, so we have a group and accommodation groups and stuff like that. So we were able to bring students together. So we understood that when students have a space to discuss, they grow more and more friendly, because
100%.
you have students from a lot of places. So be part of everything. Don't miss that. Any club you like, be part of it, because there's going to be a lot of things happening around that. Yeah.
And Rai, what about you?
I think Samuel has given some golden advice. I think use every resource that UTAS has to offer. It's going to make your experience really fulfilling. But apart from that, I think if you have any question where you have any doubt, the university is always very helpful. So even if you're in the home country right now, just pick up the phone, call the call the university, and clear all your doubts. I'm sure they'll give you all the required information. So I think that's all that I have to say to end.
Thanks, Rai. And just to follow up on that, so the international student recruitment team, I'm part of the international recruitment team. You can give us a call. We'll have all that information there for you after the session. We're here to help you. We're here to help your student journey. It's not going to end just here. So definitely contact us. We have a fantastic team, not just myself, a huge team behind me. So, as part of our team, so who will help you. Ryan and then G.
Okay, so we run out of time, so I would just give a really quick advice that you guys should be aware of the weather of the place that you're going to. I know that in this COVID-19 situation, some countries still not open their border yet, but I really do hope that you have a chance to actually go to Tasmania, to Hobart, to the University of Tasmania, attend the class here, attend the uni course here, and in that case, be aware of the weather. Where I come from in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, there are around the world there are 4 seasons, right, a year. That's spring, summer, fall, and winter. But in my country, in Ho Chi Minh City, where I come from, there are only 2 seasons. The first one is the hot season, and the second one is the hotter season. So it's always hot. So be aware of the weather here, where it's gonna be hot in the summer, but it's gonna cold in the winter. So prepare your clothes, prepare everything, and the winter in Tasmania is gonna be cold, but when you get used to it, you're gonna love it. It's perfect, because in winter you got lots of beautiful scenes, beautiful places to go. If you can just search online for winter scenes in Tasmania, and you're gonna love it when you actually see it. So yeah, so my advice to be aware
You
of
know
where you go.
what? Thanks, Ryan. 13 years I've lived in Hobart. Um, And I come from the Middle East, so it's 45, 47-degree heat in UAE
Oh,
from United Arab Emirates. And when I came here, it was tough, I'll tell you. But just as you said, Ryan, you get used to it. I'm used to it now. A lot of students ask me, it's so cold, I'm not used to the cold, but you just put a jacket on, you put a beanie on. If education is important for you, if your experience, the intention behind wanting that student experience is important for you, put a jacket on, put a beanie on, you'll get used to it, and your skin will get tougher, and you can go to countries during winter time, so that's fine. But I'll move on to you, Jay, really quickly, and we'll get to questions.
Yeah, I'll just be hopefully quite quick about this, because just continuing from Samuel and Rai, that I think the most important thing is about being proactive, because one thing about Tasmania is that to get a job, to get part-time jobs and your full-time job after your degree, it's important that you build up your own network. And to do
Oh,
that,
yeah.
you just really gotta get out there and just experience whatever the city has to offer you. For example, in your slide, Mona, in the background picture, it's actually happening in Launceston. That's actually part of the Mona FOMO Festival. And
It
it's,
is.
Okay.
yeah, and you wouldn't expect something like a really small city to have this kind of event. But there we go, this is Launceston. It's something of a charm. And that's why I just like people to actually really experience it. When there are events, just have a look, just go join them and just see what happens there.
That is amazing. I completely agree with you, G. When I was a student who came here, I think my advice as a former student is please be proactive in whatever you do. You need to be proactive. You need to put yourself out there. You need to show yourself to your lecturers, to your tutors, to your peer networks. You know, go out there, do what you need to do. Just like these four fantastic students, who are one day going to be Utah's alumni themselves very, very soon, uh, help the community, take part in things. You have to be proactive. And the Australian workforce will see that, will notice that if you're planning to stay. Even if you're not planning to stay, if you go back to your home country, if you go to a third country, they will see that you have been proactive throughout your university degree. It shows multitasking. It shows so many different aspects that a normal job just doesn't show. And that will increase your chances of employability in the future. That will increase a lot of things. I can go on forever about this, but thank you so much. I'm going to go to questions now. We're open to Q&A. We're kind of running over time, but it's okay. I'll ask a few questions. So let me just get my head around the questions that are coming in. So we did have a question from a student, which is kind of a sensitive topic, but have any of you experienced any sort of racism in Tasmania, or, with the current situation that's happening in the world right now, I guess. But, in Tasmania, personally, I've always experienced it to be a safe state. It is one of the safest states in Australia. So I'm just keen to hear some of your thoughts on that thought. Have you guys ever witnessed anything, or, what are your thoughts? I guess I'll start with Rai, maybe.
Yeah, so I think personally, I've never really experienced it. In fact, even when I get out of my house at Battery Point, my neighbors know me well now, so they wish me good morning. Everyone's really polite. In fact, even when you board the bus driver will wish you good morning, and everyone's very welcoming. So that's how you build, in fact, your network, your social circle. So personally, I've not really experienced that, and I don't think it really happens because none of my friends have experienced it as well. So
And Jay, maybe comment from you as well. Have you experienced anything like that before?
Not personally, but I do hear about a few cases here and there. They're not frequent at all. They're just quite occasional. But I do think that it's because there are just certain people who just don't really know about other cultures and stuff like that. It's more about
Of course.
intentiveness, definitely. But
Yeah,
personally, I haven't.
and you're right. I mean, as more and it's natural anywhere in the world, as a country or state or city, whatever it is, becomes more diverse, it also takes time for other people to understand other people's cultures, and that's completely normal. Majority of us have not experienced anything here. In terms of safety, it's always been safe here personally, you know, and any country you go to, you always have, you know, good and bad. You know, there's never going to be perfectness in any place you go. But I'd like to think that Tasmania has always been on the positive side, and people are very friendly. I've always said we're a super friendly community, and you know, the intention is always from, you know, from Australians living here is to welcome people, and it's become, since 2008, since I've been here. Back then it was very different to now, and things have changed dramatically. So completely agree with both of your answers. I'll go on to a next question. This is a good one. Thanks, Mohammed. So maybe Samuel, you can answer this one. So what would you have done differently at the university if you got a chance?
If I got a chance, that's a tricky question. That
It
what
is
I'm doing,
tricky. I'm thinking
I'm
myself.
agreeing with, you know, enjoying what I'm doing. What would I have done? I would have, at the start when I came in here, I was not really connected to the help system that UTAS have. I actually seek help from outside because I'm a church community part. So I found church members. I found, you know, outside groups that could help me out, and then I understood that UTAS had a very, you know, wide branch of health systems. So if you are coming to Launceston, all help is in student living building. Any help you need, go to student living building. So if something that I wanted to do something differently, definitely I will look into what all things that university was providing before I take any steps outside. That's one thing. Other than that, everything I do actually I enjoy. I don't want to change any bit of it. So
And that's
I'm
good
not
to hear.
I'm not the right person to answer that question because I do enjoy every bit of it, and I don't want to change anything.
No, that's really good. Maybe Ji, this next question, I know it's a very general question, but since you're from the health faculty, so for undergraduate students, do we have many chances to do some science projects or science experiments to gain some experiences, and how? So I guess you explained a little bit, but in terms of, do you have any information about other courses that deal with more, I guess, experiments and things like you've experienced as a student?
I actually know there is a program that is held every year, and it's by application only, in which there is actually a little grant or something like that. In the Faculty of Science, this is actually $1,000. They give you that money, and you start a project for 3 months over November to February. Yeah, that's around that time. And during that time, you get to do your own project, and that's how I met my supervisors and that big team of people that I work with. And this applies to other science faculties, such as I think the marine sciences as well have this, and environmental sciences have the same program as well. So if you're really wanting to become a researcher, you can just wait till November. Don't book your flight home yet. Just see whether you can apply and just get through that process. And it's really
That's
invaluable.
fantastic. I actually didn't know about that, so thanks for telling me. I might go to Ryan. We've got a question here. Just conscious of time, we've got a minute or two max left, but in terms of casual part-time jobs, a lot of students say that it's always difficult to find a job in Tasmania, you know, this and that. And they've also asked how long it took us to find jobs. So I guess for you, Ryan, can you share a little bit about your experience about, you know, in terms of job opportunities here?
Okay, thanks, Mona. So before I answer this question, I'll say just to be clear that I'm not a job seeking expert, but with my personal experience, back 2 years back, when I first arrived, that was 3 years. So 3 years ago, I arrived in Hobart in Tasmania, and I would say at that time it was difficult to find a part-time job because at that time there was some kind of a boom, a huge, a large number of people, and including students, coming to Tasmania. So at that time, you know, it's all about supply and demand. At that time, the market is still at that level, but a lot of people arrived. So it creates a huge demand, but the supply has not increased yet. But now, 3 years later, 3 years after that, I think the market has quite well respond to those supply. So
Yeah.
at this time, at this point of time, I will not saying it's easy to find a job, but it's easier than 3 years ago when I first arrived. And just add a little bit tip to you guys that if you worry about finding a job in Tasmania, I would really recommend to check on the University of Tasmania website to find jobs.
Yep.
And especially if you are current students, there are things called student jobs. A lot of student jobs for you. So so you can apply and work at the University of Tasmania at the same time you are studying.
That is really good point, Ryan. We actually have an iPrep and employability session tomorrow with Layla, who's going to be talking about all of that, as well as one of our iPrep students, Edwin, who will discuss about his experience. So if anyone's interested in that session, student jobs and iPrep, please join tomorrow's session. But I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much. I know you all guys have exams, and you know, I'm happy to be seeing you guys form part of the UTAS alumni group. I really appreciate the time that you guys took today to talk. I found it super interesting, and I always appreciate hearing students' experiences and thoughts. Given my previous experience, I always like to see how everyone else's experience was. Thank you so much. Good luck with your studies, and for everyone who's listening, we will answer the rest of your questions offline, and the recorded version of this will be available on our website, as well as the slides. Thank you guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon, and good luck.
Thanks, Mona. Thanks, everyone.